let's talk about the hurricane that is now approaching. You've called climate change and that agenda a hoax. You said more people are dying from bad climate change policies than there are of actual climate change. But according to a UN agency, extreme weather events compounded by climate change caused the death of 2 million people between 1970 and 2021. Can you offer a shred of evidence that more than 2 million people died from converting to clean energy?
I can offer clear evidence that the number of climate disaster-related deaths is down by 98% over the last century. The number of people who died of hurricanes, tornadoes, heat waves, and other weather-related events in 1920, for every 100 that died then, 2 die today. And the reason why is more plentiful, abundant access to fossil fuels and technology powered by fossil fuels. I can also tell you today, it is a hard fact. None of these things are disputed. 8 times as many people die of cold temperatures than die of warm ones. The right answer to all temperature-related deaths is more plentiful, abundant access to fossil fuels. The Earth is covered by more green surface area today than it was half a century or a century ago because carbon dioxide is plant food. And carbon dioxide as a percentage of the atmosphere is still at a relative low through human history. Those are hard facts. And I think we have to acknowledge those facts when having this debate.
Well, there's a hard fact of the hurricane that is now approaching. The mayor, a 3-generation St. Petersburg resident, says he's never seen anything like this, the ocean warming. But let me move on to some
Andrea, may I respectfully offer a response to that? And I mean this with due respect. If someone on the other side were an uneducated person from Arkansas who didn't go to college and offered one weather event as an N of 1 anecdote to help support a theory of global climate change, you'd laugh off the stage as a rube for saying they don't follow data. The same shoe has to fit the other foot. Follow the actual data.
I'm not talking about...
My thoughts about what?
Running for re-election in 2026.
That's
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026? All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Senator. Benny.
You know, in 2008, it became really clear that Barack Obama had been having sex with men and smoking crack. And a guy came forward, Larry Sinclair, and said, I'll sign an affidavit. And he did. I'll take a lie detector. And he did. I smoked crack with Barack Obama and had sex with him. Well, that was obviously true. Nobody reported it, not because they were squeamish about sex or drugs, but because the Obama campaign said anyone who reports on this gets no access to the Obama campaign. And so they didn't report on it. So that happens. That's just one small example, but that happens all the time with lots of different issues.
Now, do you believe that transpired, or do you believe the guy is legitimate, or both?
Oh, the Larry Sinclair story? Oh, that definitely happened. Oh, for sure. I mean, I've talked to Larry Sinclair about it, and definitely it happened. I mean,
before I took office, there were a lot of folks out there making some pretty bold predictions about how things would turn out. You might remember some of the predictions.
They're coming for your guns, they're coming for your jobs, and they're coming for your freedom. They hate American energy, and Joe Biden will shut it all down. He's going to.
That if I became president...
Biden's elected, he will wipe out your energy industry.
Another prediction, that is my favorite one, I must add, is that if I got elected...
Gas prices going $5, $6, $7 for a gallon. Flood your communities with criminal aliens, drugs, and crime while they live behind beautiful gated compounds. You spend trillions of dollars rebuilding foreign nations, fighting foreign wars, and defending foreign borders.
So for all those predictions of doom and gloom, here's where we stand.
Do you want to use the word recession or depression? But if Biden wins, your borders are gone, the middle class is gone, your safety is gone.
Your primary concern right now is inflation.
We could stop it in 30 minutes.
Hello, it's me. It's Joe Biden. See, I made it to Maui. I'm excited to get to my hotel. Jill and I got sunburned this morning on the beach, enjoying a cocktail in the sand. You people like it hot, I guess. Anyway, I know how you feel. When I was a boy, my father told me to make the pancakes one morning. I burned my hands on the pan. I gripped it hard. That's when a Japanese fellow by the name of Chuck Long Lee Chen Chen took me under his wing. Showed me the art of taking a bath naked. That's what I called my son Bo. I told him my Corvette went on a hiking expedition in the Alps. It's when it burned to a crisp. He died in my arms. Now I know what it's like to be Native American, just like you fine folks. To help the struggling families of Maui, I'm sending each and every one of you $17.51. To divide amongst yourselves as you please. Anyway.
Happy Wednesday.
Welcome. Jesus Christ.
I'm pretty sure I know why the hurricane is hitting Florida.
Why?
There's got to be an explanation for all this. You want an explanation? God is pissed.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, actually, the reason is, I don't know. It's hurricane season, and hurricanes hit generally this time of year every year.
No, they don't.
Since the 1800s, when they started recording weather, it's been happening. But according to CNN,
it is all about the cow farts and the, the aerosol sprays. That's what's causing the hurricanes.
If you listen to CNN or the Weather Channel, that's what you think is actually going on. Oh, it's never happened. Never hit this part of Florida ever. No. And then you have the governor say, well, it did hit back in the 1800s. It hit the same area. But I guess it's climate change.
Well, for those that live here in Ohio, I'm loving this climate change. This is fantastic. What is it today? 65 degrees in August?
Yeah, this is great.
God bless climate change as far as I'm concerned. 65 degrees in August. That's fantastic.
Yeah, the problem is it's a tease because it's supposed to be 90 again next week.
Yeah, well, still.
Everything is a straight lie. Just Google how many drilling permits he signed versus Trump. It's higher. Same point. Do we not understand capitalism? OPEC knows the U.S. Hi, Heidi. Welcome to the show.
She's not wrong on that one. I'll agree. I don't always agree with Heidi. I'll agree with her on that. OPEC does rule our world.
But he has that. He's getting rid of drilling. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, but the problem we have with OPEC is we are the slaves to OPEC, thanks to the good Lord and Savior Richard Nixon, who signed in the forever in perpetuity agreement to trade T-bills for oil, which the OPEC nations could not sign fast enough to hold us hostage to oil for the privilege of them buying a few million T-bills a year. That was the best deal they ever made. That was us buying Louisiana for a bag of beans or whatever we used.
I want to know what Doug is saying is sad. What is sad? Like every video that I played is sad, or we sad, or what's sad, Doug? Tell me. Elaborate so I know what you're talking about, so I don't take offense.
Me and you are sad.
Because right now I'm taking offense to the fact that this is sad. I don't know which part is sad. Easy, clean show. Not the fucking day. It's not. Wait, I'm sorry.
Hey, language. Jeez.
Sorry. I apologize. Well,
you're supposed to say this flarkin' flickin' show.
Look, the ticket has been submitted to corporate, so we're still waiting to get that taken care of before we can.
Right. So if it works like
every other, that I'll tell you what, that is sad. And I didn't play that video to make fun. The only reason I played that video is to show that one, it is really sad, but two, maybe it's time that we start moving on from some of these people. And I like Mitch McConnell for the most part, and Dianne Feinstein. Maybe it's time we move away from some of these people that have spent eternity in office and try to move on a little bit, because I don't want my politicians and people that represent me up there not able to speak like that, because that was incredibly sad. And scary, to be honest with you.
I laughed.
I know you did. I saw you laugh.
I laughed. I chuckle because, and I'm not chuckling at him per se. You know what I'm chuckling at? Us. That we allow this. That we keep electing these dummies into office.
Well, I mean, at one point it wasn't a dummy. And same, I'm sure, Dianne Feinstein, I don't agree with her. I'm sure that she was a dummy at some point in my eyes, but as far as she's probably somewhat smart, but not anymore. She's like a vegetable sitting there trying to figure out what to do, and people are telling her how to vote. I mean, this really needs to stop. It does.
How long has she been in office?
Before the first hurricane.
Before the first hurricane, yeah, I was going to say, how long has Mitch McConnell been in office? He was in there, what, when Abe Lincoln was the president? I mean,
they were elected together, I think.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, somebody put it in here. I don't know who did, but it's on the screen. Age limits. I would just say term limits.
Yes.
Why can't we say that in any political office, the longest you're allowed to stay is 8 years?
The longer you sit there, the more corrupt you become.
And the less attached to your constituency you become.
Of course.
How much time? Feinstein's what, California?
I believe.
Right? How much time do you think she spends in California in a year?
Or thinks about it. Yeah. She may be on the beach there at some point, but yeah, you're right.
She's not traveling around California seeing the atrocities in San Francisco and the homeless situation in LA and the spreading drug problems in San Diego. She doesn't know what's going on out there.
I'll tell you what. There's a lot of stuff. There's so much going on. Yes, on term limits. You got to listen to the Bob Frantz show on occasion, Chris. Even you, who does. I know you don't agree with a lot of the right wing stuff, like hardcore right wing stuff, anyways.
Yeah.
But like today, we had a guy on, Mike McCormick, who's written a book, and he's got all kind of insider information about. He's been privy to the Hunter Biden laptop.
Right.
And so
okay.
We're talking about a guy that knows a lot of stuff. Talking
Sure.
about how corrupt this Biden family actually is. And I mean, there's so many things that we're going to have him on again because a half hour wasn't enough. We need this guy on for like 3 days to talk about all the stuff that he knows. And I'd love to get him on this show.
Sure.
Too, because it's really interesting, the corruption and the crime that is going on right now in the office. And nobody's talking about it. You will not get this left-wing media, and I don't care what you say, Heidi, this left-wing media to actually report on this stuff that's going on. They'll say Trump all day long, try to overturn an election, yet they forget the hanging chads in Florida how many years ago when the Democrats wanted to overthrow the election and wanted to challenge the election because they thought that they were robbed. Well, Trump has the right to do that. The real crimes is the bribery and corruption that's going on right now between Hunter and his dad.
Yeah.
That's in other foreign countries. That's what's the real crime here. And none of the media is going to talk about it.
No.
Unless you watch Fox, you're not going to see any of it.
And even Fox doesn't cover it. You heard, or did you hear about this audio tape of Biden? Did you hear about this?
Yes, I did.
On Newsmax?
Yes.
That they have some kind of damning tape on him? And it's like, did you hear that anywhere else? No.
Of course not. You're not going to
hear it on Newsmax. Which I'm going to tell you what, this is one time I'm going to this is one time I would really wish that the news people would be corrupt. I ain't going to lie. I'm going to say point blank and honestly, I wish these guys would have held this tape for about 6 more months.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then dropped it in the middle of the election where it doesn't give commie Gavin Newsom time to, take hold in the election.
Yeah.
But
we're going to get in all this in a little bit because we do have a guest waiting here.
Okay. Sorry. I'm ready to roll.
No. We're going to roll on all this stuff in a little bit. But first, I want to talk to Melissa from Yellow Brick Road Auctions. And let's play her commercial first. Why don't we do that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Get an idea of what we're talking about. So in 30 seconds, we're going to hear from Melissa. So hang on.
There's no place like home, and whether it's furniture, artwork, home accessories, appliances, or that one-of-a-kind collectible, Yellow Brick Road Online Auctions allows you to find everything you need from the comfort of your own home. The owner of Yellow Brick Road Auctions has been conducting online estate auctions for over 8 years by providing homeowners with a stress-free process to liquidate all items that have accumulated over the years.
I'm Melissa Mandise, owner of Yellow Brick Road Auctions. Log on today to find your heart's desire.
Let's bring on Melissa.
All right.
We played your commercials, and now we don't need to talk to you. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
Hey, you guys.
Welcome to the show.
Hello. How are you doing?
We are fantastic.
Good.
So tell us what your business is all about, where you're at, and what's going on today.
All right. Well, I take care of homeowners who need to liquidate their entire home, whether it's due to a parent passing away or someone moving into assisted living, or most of my clients are actually moving to Florida or Arizona. So I liquidate everything in the household. I've been doing it for 9 years. I worked for 2 other companies prior to opening my own 3 years ago because I got a little upset with companies that are not honest nowadays. So you always have to be careful. A lot of companies, you have to be licensed and bonded by the state of Ohio to be an auction firm, which is what I am. So I love it. I absolutely love doing it. It's almost like American Pickers in a way, because you're finding a lot of really cool stuff in the house. So for instance, right now we have an auction up in Bay Village, which has a lot of collectible Barbie and vintage games. So I know that Molly loves Barbie stuff. One of the items that we have on there is the 1972 Barbie airplane. That actually was a toy that I had when I was young. I was probably about 8 or 9 years old when I found that underneath the Christmas tree. And it's actually hard to find. So that item is on auction right now. And then we also have the 1973 Barbie beach bus, which is pretty cool.
That is cool. I just saw a picture of that the other day, and I mean, the Barbie stuff is very hot right now, especially because the man-hating movie that's out there. But for people that
it's
love
funny
the
because there's about just so you know, Seth, there's about 85 collectible Barbies that are over. Their value is over $500 a piece.
Wow. I'm telling you, Barbies are really a great toy. I'm glad that the Barbies that come in a box don't talk like the one in a movie, because then I don't know if I could deal with that. But my daughter does have a bunch of Barbies around here. None of them are unfortunately worth a lot of money. But yeah, they are available for up for auction right now on your website, yellowbrickroadauctions.com.
Yeah, one of the funny things that we have on is the TV tennis. That was a Lewis Marks game. It came out, and this is years ago, before Pong even came out with Atari. And we have the original game that's up on auction. And the difference between the one we have and the one that was sold to people, we're trying to figure it out, but we believe we have the original prototype, because the prototype was brown, which is the one that we have on auction. And the ones that were sold to everyone, for purchase were green. So that's kind of a really out of the ordinary thing that we have up right now.
There it is. We got it on the screen right now. That's pretty cool. That's very cool, actually.
Yeah, can you imagine that, playing that?
See, one of the things I found on your auction the other day that I'm going to be bidding on, I don't remember when the auction ends. I think it's in a couple of weeks. And I don't know if I want to mention it, because then people are going to go out there and try to bid on it. But I am definitely going to bid on something on there very soon. How do people sign up, and what do they need to do?
All they have to do is go to there's 2 websites. My business website, where you can see the commercial that runs on TV, is www.yellowbrickroadauctions.com. Or you can go right to the auction site, which is www.ybrauctions.com. They go on there. If they want to register to become a bidder, just hit the register button. I verify everyone with a phone call once they register, and then they can bid on any of the auctions. I put a new one up every single Thursday. Now, the Bay Village auction that we have up right now, we're letting that one run for 3 weeks on purpose, much longer, because Labor Day weekend, we want people to enjoy time with their family and friends. Sure. And more importantly, we're actually going to visit the Land of Oz, which is out in North Carolina. It's actually an old amusement park.
Yeah.
It was real big in the 80s. Now, I guess they don't have the rides anymore. So it's going to be new to me. I don't know what's going to happen there, but they're only open 3 weekends of the year in August. So I'm going to be taking a trip out there to go see Dorothy and the whole cast.
That's cool. I remember I saw like an ad for that somewhere online, and I checked it out, and I was like, I kind of wanted to go check that out myself. Yeah. But I don't know if you can see the comments, Melissa, but Rick loves you, and I don't know what we're trying to keep him down and tame tonight, but he's a big fan, so I'm sure Rick is going to be signing up at yellowbrickroadauctions.com to
Just to get the phone
Rick will
call.
sign up, and then maybe he'll get to meet me at one of the pickups if you get to win something.
Yeah, I think he's signing up just to get a phone call from you. So.
Are you sure he's looking at the right person?
Yes. Yeah. Wait, here's another. He's got a heart up there.
Look at that, jeez. I think you're his Barbie.
You're flattering me, but okay. I don't know if I believe you.
Yeah, you have to come up with a username, right? When you sign up for your.
Yep, you
your
come
site?
up with a username and a password, and then you just start bidding on the auctions. Now I have to warn people. I have over 8,170 collectors registered on my site alone. And most of them all go on the last day of the auction. They wait until the last couple of minutes to put in bids, which is great to watch because you can see what people are fighting over.
Right.
An auction will, like, say you're bidding on the Barbie airplane. If you're fighting with somebody on that Barbie airplane, it'll keep extending it when someone puts in a bid. So I've actually had auctions close at 12:40 in the morning because people were fighting so hard to get the item.
There it is.
There's the Barbie. Melissa, what is it? I want to go back to the Barbie for a minute. Barbie has, at least in my lifetime, and I'm in my 50s, Barbie has always been so mass produced. What is it about certain Barbie toys, accessories, etc., that gives it more value for something that has been so overly manufactured?
Well, actually, the Barbies that are worth a lot were not mass produced.
Oh, okay.
So one as recent as 2018, which was the St. Laurent Barbie. That's worth over $500. Now, it was not mass produced. So, and when we think mass produced, there was probably maybe 5,000 made versus 10 or 20,000 of them made. So, also it's just the sort of the theme behind it. One of them is called Magic Color Barbie. She was produced in 1966. That's worth over $800 if you ever find one of those. Another thing about the Barbies is just how they designed them. Older Barbies had like the old-fashioned eyeliner and eyeshadow on. Their eyes were shaped a certain way, which make them much more collectible and classic, so to speak.
Right. How do you fend off people that might try to forge one? Because now today with these 3D printers and stuff, you could probably put in a picture of it and make something that looked the same. What do you do to make sure that it isn't a forgery?
It's actually very easy for someone in my business who's been doing it for so long to see a forgery. It is hard when it comes to artwork. Sure. An original painting, the technology they have nowadays to make original painting look like an actual painting that was done back in the day is phenomenal. Sure. However, there's certain things that you know to look for. But as a forgery goes, there's certain signatures. And also you have to know the stamps, meaning the manufacturer's stamp when it's done a certain way. And let me give you an example. I just had to go to a client's home a couple of weeks ago. He had a plate that he thought was a Limoges plate, which is a famous brand from France. And when I turned over the plate and looked at the stamp on the underside of it, the rose, one of the pieces on the stamp was faced a different way. Oh, wow. And that's a way to tell whether or not that's a fake or an authentic Limoges plate.
Right.
Well, just for the record, there are some really expensive Barbies, like the 2013 Pink Diamond Barbie, just auctioned off for $15,000
from 2013.
Yeah.
Wow.
And those there weren't that many made, or they were a limited time offer, meaning they were only sold for maybe 1 year or 6 months or something like that.
One of the original Barbies, like in her like black and white bathing suit or whatever, sold for like $27,000.
I actually have that Barbie.
Wow.
That's Francine. Francine,
Yes.
I have the original Francine in the black and white bathing suit from when I was a little girl. I don't think that's ever going anywhere.
Wow. Well, if you go
Except
decide
in
to
my
auction
will.
up. Yeah. You had some drum sets and some like planes up too, right?
Yeah. So in a couple of weeks, we're going to be putting up 2 different auctions. One is going to be a Brecksville auction, and we have 2 sets of drums. The one set we're going to sell all together with the cymbals and everything. And I'm trying to remember, let me look at my note here because I think it's a 5-piece set. So that's a 5-piece set, and it's a pearl set.
Right.
So we're going to be selling that all together. The other set, we're going to be doing the drum, which is a 5-piece set in one lot, and then the cymbals in a separate lot. And the reason I do that sometimes is because let's say that you guys are drummers. If you break cymbals often, especially if you play in clubs every single weekend. So
Right.
I want to appeal to the bidders who may need those cymbals, but they already have a drum set.
True.
So I divided one of the drum sets, the cymbals in one lot, the drum set in a separate, and then the pearl set is all going to be together. So that gives you some options of what you want to bid on.
Very nice.
cool.
And what about the planes? I know you sent us a picture of some
The
planes.
planes, it's funny. I was going to say, Seth, you need to come over to this house because we're afraid to test them out. They're remote control planes. These are huge. They have 60 and 65-inch wingspans. You can actually bring up the company, which I want to remember the name of the company. They are Great Plains Model Manufacturing Company. And they're pretty well known. They're pretty expensive. And they come in a kit. So it takes a good couple of hours to put them together. However, on the auction I have 4 of the planes already put together with the radio, remote controls, and everything. The only thing is we don't know if we're going to test them out or not because those are gigantic planes. And I don't even know if I can work a drone, let alone a plane that size. So I don't want to crash it.
Well, they look pretty cool, though. I mean, they look pretty awesome. So.
Yeah.
Did you?
So,
What
4 of those
what-
will be going up shortly.
What year are those from? Those look very old school. Those look cool.
They actually still make them today.
Okay.
Now, the ones that he purchased, this gentleman whose house I'm doing, he's had them for about 15 years or so. So I don't know until I look at the serial number, because I'm just starting to photograph those, what
Okay.
year those will be from. But they do make those planes today as model kits.
Sure.
I'm told that you can also buy them already made from some companies, but they're a lot more expensive when you buy them that way.
Right. Listen, let me ask you, not necessarily about this auction, but just in general, how does sports memorabilia do? Because
Always good.
It's always good.
Always good. Yeah. I actually did an auction a couple of months ago in Olmsted Falls and found a bunch of the old 1960 baseball cards. One of the cards was Joey Bell, which is, you can still find it, but it is a little rare because Albert Bell is what he went through, later.
Mm-hmm.
It had the original Joey Bell card in there, and there were several inside the album. The bidding started at $10, and those sold for over $3,000.
Wow, no kidding. All right, now in my safe deposit box, I have an autograph, and it's authenticated and all that. I have an autographed Babe Ruth baseball, pretty clean. Autograph is mint. What would I expect at auction for that?
Well, I always tell people when you do an auction, it's whatever the winning bidder is willing to pay for it. Okay. However, when you have a true Babe Ruth with a certificate of authenticity, that can go anywhere from the lowest I've seen it go is $3,000. The highest I've seen one go, which was several years ago, was $8,000. So, each year it changes. Also, things go up and down. Some people may find if you come across a lot of Babe Ruth stuff, you never know. There might be someone who was a collector and he held on to a lot of Babe Ruth material. And then all of a sudden he passes away and the family puts it up for sale. Then the Babe Ruth stuff is going to go down in value because there's a bigger lots that are offered at that time.
Okay.
Somebody wants to know about bobbleheads.
Bobbleheads, it all depends on who they are. Bobbleheads are collectible, but it all depends on who they are and whether they were limited editions or not. So if there's a limited edition one, it means less were made. I haven't come across any bobbleheads that are worth a lot of money. However, when you have ones like the Cleveland Indians, which are no longer called the Indians anymore,
Right.
I would hold on to those for many years. Those are not going to go up in value to at least 20, 25 years from now. So if you have those anywhere in your house, hold on to them. They'll be worth a lot more money later on.
Sure.
All right,
Well,
can I ask
go ahead, Seth. Go ahead.
I just have like a question. You may not even want to answer this. Have you ever gone to a house and found like weird stuff, like a box of like Playboys and porn, or like sex
Actually,
things
I
and
put on
weird stuff?
Playboys. Several times I put on lots of Playboys.
Really?
The last one I did was a house in Northfield. Great person, and he had very high-end collectible Playboys. Pamela Lee Anderson, from back in the day.
What's the link to that?
Celebrities.
I think I lost that bid.
It went for good money. So. But I haven't found anything that I would say is very
too weird
or freaky,
Yeah.
Except a voodoo doll, which was an original voodoo doll, which I refused to put on because I didn't want any of that
bad mojo,
karma or voodoo on me. So
Right.
I refused to put it on because I didn't even want to touch it.
All right, well, I'm going to remind you not to clean out my house when I go. Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
Melissa, is there anything that people commonly think is worth something that as soon as you walk in, they're like, oh, you got to see this china or something. And you just know that it's not. But every time you walk into a house, people try to pitch it to you thinking that it's going to be worth a lot.
Several items. One of them is Beanie Babies. Beanie Babies are worth nothing. They not anything. If I were to come across Beanie Babies, you'd have to have at least 100 or 150. They would all go in one lot together. And the only reason someone would buy those is because they have one of those crank machines. Like, when you go in the grocery store and you put in a quarter and you grab out with the tongs.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So someone has that at home and they're just finding the Beanie Babies to put in there. So those don't go well. Also, Hummels all depend on the TMK mark that is on the bottom of them. A TMK1 mark is the oldest mark. So you have to know your Hummels.
Right.
Everyone thinks, oh, they're Hummels. They're worth money. Or Waterford. Waterford crystal is not worth a lot of money. Also, Yadros. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Yadros. Yadros are porcelain figurines.
Oh,
There's certain ones that are definitely worth money, and then there's some that are not. And the reason is whether or not they were a limited edition or mass produced or not.
Right.
I'm screwed now. My Yadros collection needs to go in the garbage.
Melissa, what about all of those collectible plates that were all the rage like 15, 20 years ago? The Gone with the Wind and the 9/11 and all those. Any of those have any value?
Actually, no, they don't. I hate to say it, but the plates that people would put on their walls that are not meant for food, those, I hate to say it, but they're not worth anything. Now, I have sold them before. There are people that want them, but you have to have a lot of them. So, for instance, if you had, all the plates with different types of dogs on them, you'd have to have at least 30 of those plates for someone to go, okay, I'm willing to buy those because my granddaughter loves dogs. Let me get them for her. But China is really hard to sell nowadays unless it's Haviland, Limoges, or Noritake. Someone
have
just called me
Noritake.
today and asked about some porcelain that they had that was made in occupied Japan. Now that's something totally different. If you have something made in Japan, not anything. If you have something made in occupied Japan, that's worth a lot more money.
I have Noritake china that was my grandmother's. and she gave me left me it's a huge box, almost 100 plates or whatever it is, whatever I don't know, set or whatever. It's white. It's got a blue line around it. It looks kind of plain, but I don't know what that kind of thing is worth.
Okay, well then you let me tell you right now. I was just going to ask you, what does it look like? Because another thing you have to consider is whether it's the old-fashioned type that has the flowers all over it. No one wants China anymore with all the flowers all over them.
It does not.
So yeah, the more neutral, the better. So if you have Noritake from your grandmother, and it's more of a neutral pattern, such as the white with blue or even white with gold,
white with blue,
that's worth some money.
Okay, well I'm gonna have to contact you. What now, Pez? I had a huge Pez collection back in the day. Unfortunately, my ex-wife took most of it, and then I sold the rest because I needed alcohol. But is Pez something that is?
Yep, it all depends on the Pez. All depends on which ones they are. So, a good thing to do is if you ever want to, it depends you want to make sure you go to a reputable site. But if you Google what are the most collectible Pez or the rarest, you will get an idea of which ones are more rare than others. So that's really good to know. So I'm trying to think of one of the Pez that I sold was the whole set from Wizard of Oz. And it was in the original packaging and sealed, never opened. Someone wants something like that. But when I come across Pez dispensers, I have to look at each one and see which one they are. If you have the Cookie Monster, consider yourself very lucky. If you have one that's, from the 80s or 90s, not so good.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. What about music? Oh, did she leave?
Maybe she's getting a call.
There she is. She's getting a call.
Sorry about that. We were getting a phone call.
No problem. Well, Melissa, I wanted to ask you about musical memorabilia. I would imagine guitars and stuff like that do well, but do anything other than big name? Obviously, if you have a Metallica used drum set or something, that's probably worth something. But what about just common, like you were selling the drum set there? I mean, what would a person expect if they had a drum set that's in really good shape, but in their attic or something that was their grandfather's from the 60s? So it's that older style. Would that have more value?
Yes, it would. The older, the better, because number one, the older means it most likely was made in the United States, which makes a big difference. Sure. Also, the type of material it's made out of. Some of them, unfortunately, were made with ivory. Ivory is illegal to sell. So if it has ivory on it, you're never going to be able to sell it. If it's real ivory. But not many of them were made that way. But it all depends on the material it was made from. Also, a lot of them later in certain years, like the pearl set that we're going to be putting up. That pearl set was made in Taiwan. Better than made in Japan for some reason. But that value of that drum set right now used is worth about $800. So it's still worth money. Sure. It also depends on the drum set, meaning was it a beginner set or was it a more professional set for a musician? Okay. So there's little intricacies that you have to know when it comes to each piece, especially when it comes to musical instruments.
Okay. Rick wants to know, who likes you, Rick wants to know, what about a KISS pinball machine? Do you get a lot of pinball machines or anything like that?
That would definitely be huge. They made several of them. So there's some because they made more than one style of KISS pinball machine. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. If I remember correctly, I think they made 4 or 5 different styles. So it all depends on which style he had. And then I would have to investigate it to see how many of that style was made. But that is definitely, someone wants that. So that would need a reserve. It wouldn't start off at $10 bidding. It would be like a car or a motorcycle. So there'd have to be a reserve put on it. But definitely KISS would go high. In fact, what's funny is I just had a photograph of an album collection yesterday. And in the album collection, was some of the Prince records. So,
Okay.
now that Prince is no longer with us, they've gone up in value.
Well, if you're
That'll be
getting
like
good,
this podcast when we're not around, and this podcast will go through the roof. So I'm looking, that'll be something.
all I know is I'm hearing this about the Kiss pinball, and I'm like, I have one of those. Maybe I'll sell mine.
I would definitely tell him to give me a call. We'll put it up on auction for him.
All right. I may do that. Let me ask you one more about pinball, and you probably don't know this, but I own the 5th largest pinball arcade in the country. So I have hundreds of pinball machines. I have one machine. I don't know the value of it. I don't know that I would ever even sell it, but I'm just curious. It was made by Bally. It's called Thunderball. They only made 10. It was a prototype. There's only 4 left in existence, and I have one.
Okay, so the first thing is the serial number is what's going to tell me a lot about it.
Okay.
There's something called Worth Point. Worth Point is something that I use. It's for someone who owns an auction firm. It costs money to have.
Okay.
And I'm able to type that in and see if it's sold ever in the past 20 years, what is successfully sold for.
Okay.
So if you want an answer to what that value is, that would be the first place to start. Show me a picture of that machine, get me the serial number, and then I would put that in my Worth Point and see if it's what its value is, if it's ever been sold. Because most of the time when they make only 5 of them in the entire world, we'd have to make sure, and that's true. They may have never been sold. So therefore it's kind of like a blind guess of what the value is because they've never been sold before.
Okay. Might have to sell some machines.
There you go.
But I definitely think you need to put a reserve on that.
Oh yeah, I definitely. I'm not selling that for $10. No.
Yeah, you never do. And I put reserves on everything that warrants a reserve. I do a lot of cars, motorcycles, boats. I'm not going to let those bids start at $10. So I always talk to the homeowner after I do all my investigating. For instance, I'm going to be putting up a 17th century painting soon and a 16th century painting.
Wow.
We have to do a lot of work with that painting. Back in those days, most of the artists did not sign their names. So you have to spend months and months investigating who possibly could be the artist that created that piece, which is what I'm doing right now. But that painting, I'll probably put a reserve on that for a couple $1,000s.
Okay. Wow.
Well, tell people how to get a hold of you, Melissa, if they want to sell your stuff or sign up for the auctions, all that kind of thing.
Just go to yellowbrickroadauctions.com or you can call me. The phone number for the business, 216-903-6254.
We appreciate it. We appreciate you being a sponsor of the show and everything else. And Kayla did a good job today.
She did, didn't she?
Except for when her boyfriend called, in the middle of the segment. Then that kind of screwed things up. But that's all right, Kayla. We're all good.
We'll tell Nick not to do that anymore. But love the show. Love what you guys do.
Great.
So, and also love Bob France. I've been listening to him for years.
Yeah, he's something. I'll tell you what, that show is fun to watch or listen to, and you can learn a lot by listening to this show and that show.
Definitely. Let's hope more people start doing that. You just got to get the word out there.
Amen. Thank you, Melissa. We'll talk to
All
you
right,
soon.
you guys.
All right, Melissa. Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
YellowbrickRoadAuctions.com. YellowbrickRoadAuctions.com. And I love that segment. That was fun.
That was fun. There's so much good stuff out there, that, and it really is weird, man, because it really goes to that old adage of, one man's junk's another man's treasure type of a thing. You really don't know what you have. I mean, obviously some things you have that are obviously good, but I'm telling you, like the Barbie thing as an example, when she said the 2013 and a 2018, in a million years, I would have never thought that. I would have thought anything Barbie that would have any value would have to be 50 plus years old.
Some of these things are outrageous. I mean, they have a lot of special edition Barbies that came out. That's the problem. Is that they came out with Karl Lagerfeld, Barbie. They came out with all these different
Right.
types that are just they're special edition. So then
Mm-hmm.
these collectors go crazy for them. I mean, same thing with like, the Pez stuff. Pez came out with like I mean, back in the day they had Pez with like no feet on them, and so they those were more rare. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there you don't know. Like I have this box of China sitting in my closet. I don't know how much it's worth. And it is that Noritake with the blue and white and blah, blah, blah. It's not very patterned, whatever. And so I don't know how much it's worth.
Well, she said it's worth something. You might be your solution. Maybe you don't have to work anymore. Just sell that box of
China.
Well,
it's definitely more than I've made in the past year, no matter how much it's worth. If we worth $80, that's more than I've made in the past year working.
Well, that's like I have over here. I was going to ask her, but we ran out of time. I have it's probably my only, I'm not a collector guy really. I have like 6 total autographs. All the rock stars I've met, I have 6 autographs because I just don't collect stuff. But the one collectible that I do have that I actually cherish is hanging up here on the wall. I have a ticket from the concert that was canceled, the very next concert from Led Zeppelin, because John Bonham died.
Oh, wow.
Like he died on tour and then the next show was like 2 days later or whatever. And I have a unused, untorn concert ticket in mint condition. It's been in a frame basically since that day. And I know what I paid to get it. So I'm curious if I got ripped or if I didn't get ripped. Hopefully I didn't get ripped.
I had a whole bunch of autographs from when I worked at MMS.
Sure.
Because, dude, I was everywhere. I went to every freaking concert. I was on all the time on that station for 10 years.
Right.
And so I went everywhere. And I always just had an MMS shirt with me that I get autographed by the band or whatever.
Sure.
And then I had an autographed poster from when I went and saw Metallica at the Summer Sanatorium tour in Columbus.
With Korn, right? With Korn?
Yeah, no, it was Linkin Park.
Linkin Park, okay.
Linkin Park and Mudvayne.
All right.
But I had an autographed Metallica poster, and then I had all these. I had AC/DC, dude. Like I got to go down in the bowels of the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse or Gund Arena, whatever it was back then, and meet AC/DC, and I got shirts signed and all this stuff. And literally, my entire living room and dining room was lined up top with all these shirts that I had framed and autographed by all these different bands. And when I came home one day, when I was going through all the stuff with my divorce, bloop, magically every autograph that I had was gone along with the dining room table and half the Pez collection.
And then women wonder why their spouses kill them.
My cat was gone.
Jeez, oh man, dude, it's we could tell these kind of horror stories all day long. I came home from work one day. This is since we're telling ex-wife stories.
Yeah,
I come home from work one day. My ex-wife decided that was the day that she didn't like the music I was listening to or the movies that I had.
Yeah.
So I came in the house, and right here in my office, which is in the back of the house, there was a mound of broken CDs and cut up videos. She just went through everything that I had collected since I was like 14 years old or whatever. Man. Just tearing tapes apart and tearing videotapes apart. I was like, what the fuck is this? And she's like, you shouldn't be listening to this stuff. I'm like, are you get out of here with that? Should have known then. Then only 10 years it took me to divorce her, or her to divorce me, I guess, but
double your security. Chris Rick is coming for your kiss machine to meet Melissa.
Dude, I'd have to talk to my partner in this about that kiss machine. I'd sell that in a minute if she could get $5-6 grand for it. That machine sucks. That is the worst game. I don't care what anybody says. The kiss machine, the one that he's talking about is, and the one that's worth the most money is the one that we have, the 1976. With I think it is Paul Stanley on the glass and whatever. But the worst part about it is it doesn't have any music on it. The music is not Kiss.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not like
it's
not like I want to rock all night and party every day or anything. It's just like boo doo 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 doo. There's a bunch of those games that came out with from the bands that were garbage. We have the Ted Nugent machine too, the Gonzo machine or whatever. We have that one, and that game sucks too. That's a terrible, boring game to play. Another boring one, an arcade game, not a pinball. You've been to Pinball PA.
Yeah.
Did you play the Journey game?
Of course, and I liked that game when I was younger too.
Stop
it! Terrible game. It's a terrible game.
It's a horrible game.
It's a ridiculously bad game, but I love it
because it does play the music too. And
it does play the music. Some of the games, man, like when you think about how I remember walking through Pinball PA, and I was like, it was like Disneyland for me because being a kid, that was just brought me back to every day of my childhood being dropped off in an arcade because my parents was shopping at an actual mall and they had arcade rooms back then, and they'd give me a $5 and it would last me 2 hours because all the a quarter, and it was great. And so going to that place, to Pinball PA, your shop, man, it brought me back to when I was a little kid, and then I realized how bad the fucking games were. Compared to out now, where you have like machine guns, and you see some guy's head get blown off, and like there's sex and violence, and it's like great. And then you go back and you play Robotron, where you have two controllers. You're dead like 3 seconds. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. But when I played that game, it brought back the smell of pizza from the pizza shop that I used to play the game in. I mean, like, it's just it's magical when you play the games you used to play as a kid, and playing Pinball PA is fun.
Dude, I say this all the time about Pinball PA. And I own the place, so I'm the last one that should be saying this, but it is true. When you walk into Pinball PA, and I'm not trying to do a selfless commercial for my own place, but you can attest to this.
Yeah.
When you first walk into the place and you just look, you're literally blown away by the vastness of games. Because it really is for people that don't know. It's pinballpa.com if you want to look. But it is an old Target that everything's been taken out of and replaced by games. That's all there is games. So when you get in there and you see, and dude, let me tell you, when you turn the power on in the morning and they all come on at once, you literally feel that power. You literally just feel, you literally feel it through your bones.
But what's cool is that you call it Pinball PA, but it's more than that, because it does have all the pinball machines. And I know my daughter said the Elvis pinball machine the entire time that we were there, and she loved it.
Right.
But when I was walking around playing all the old video games, everything. Of course, you got the Frogger and the Pac-Man and stuff like that, and that's cool. But and then you had like the Star Wars trilogy game, which is like one of my favorite games of all time.
Sure.
And then though you have like the old Star Wars games.
Mm-hmm.
Like the ones that had like the little hand controller, you grip both sides of the controller.
Right.
And, it was just good shit, dude. It's just so cool seeing some of those games you grew up with.
And we pride ourselves at, one, we don't do duplicates, which everybody else does that has a big arcade like we do. They all have like 10 Pac-Mans and 10 asteroids. We don't do duplicates. Yeah, we don't do any duplicates. So literally when we advertise that there's 420 games, there's 420 games, 420 different titles that you can play. And it really, dude, I can't even explain it to people the only thing I tell people every time is wear comfortable shoes. I told you that.
Yeah.
That's the only, when I said wear comfortable shoe.
Well, I was in a wheelchair then, so then I was even more comfortable because I was able to just sit and play the games.
Sit and play the games, but yeah,
no, it really is fun.
It's fun, and boy, and again, I'm not just trying to show my own business, although I'd love for everybody watching to go. But man, oh man, you can make a day out of that place, and no hassle, we get so many people that when they're leaving, and they'll have been there all day from when we open, especially on the weekends. We open 11 o'clock. And they'll leave at 10 o'clock at night, and they'll be like, dude, where'd the day go? And they'll have played for 11 hours. And they just don't realize that they were playing all day because it's so many games. It is fun.
The only thing that irritated me is there was one guy, because I wanted to play that Star Wars trilogy game so bad. And there was one guy that just sat there. And he wouldn't fucking move. I almost went up to him. I was like, dude, if you don't get the hell out of here now, I'm going to take you out of the machine myself. Get out.
Let's see. Yes, we do have skee ball.
Do you? Yeah. I never even got over to it.
That's in the back. It's
my wife
very
back.
back.
She likes skee ball.
Does it smell like cheap Chuck E. Cheese pizza?
No, it doesn't.
No, not really. No, we don't sell food. I mean, we have vending machines, but we really don't sell food. You come there to game. We're not trying to be a restaurant. You want food, you can go there. We're in a plaza, and there's plenty of food in the plaza.
All right, we have Tony Musachio coming up in a little bit, but we'll take a quick break, and then we can talk about something before.
Oh yeah,
I'll get Tony on. But we do have but nobody actually requested. I can't believe nobody said this yet, but I'm going to play it anyways.
All right.
Oh my God, Staples actually sells staples.
There it is.
There it is.
I have it. All right, quick break, and then we'll come back and talk about something. And we got Tony Musachio coming up in just a couple. And he was in an accident.
We got to find out about that.
So we're going to find out how Tony's doing. Hang on.
Are you looking for a way to support the Seth Williams Show? Get your Seth Williams Show merchandise today. From coffee mugs to clothing and everything in between, our high-quality merch is the perfect way for you to not only support the show, but show everyone what is the greatest show going today. Just go to shop.thesethwilliamsshow.com now, shop around, and buy some great merchandise from the Seth Williams Show. Shop today.
What separates Triv's restaurant in Strongsville from everybody else? Some restaurants you go to eat the same thing over and over and over. But then there are restaurants like Triv's, where you want to go there every single time and eat something different until you have eaten every single item on the menu. Why? Because the food's delicious, and it has been for almost a quarter of a century. Triv's has amazing food, outstanding service, and an opportunity for you to have private dining, special events, and intimate occasions. You can enjoy a memorable fine dining experience in your own dedicated, intimate space. Visit Triv's in the heart of Strongsville. Call now for reservations, 440-238-8830. Triv's in Strongsville. Joe Burdick custom flags are amazing. Each flag is handcrafted to reflect the imperfect perfection, making each piece of patriotic wall art unique. This is a local small business, veteran-owned and proud. Joe Burdick creates symbolic artwork that is built to last. Display your spirit, pride, and patriotism by calling 440-305-2065 and let Joe's flag serve you. 440-305-2065. Joe Burdick Flags. Let me introduce you to Charlie's Auto Repair. Any car, any truck, any problem, Charlie's does it right. You know how it is. The check your engine light comes on, you put air in the tires, and the light is still on. 216-470-0170. That's Charlie's Auto Repair, 13728 Madison in Lakewood. Charlie can do it all, from small engine repair to fleet maintenance and system diagnostics. 216-470-0170. Charlie's Auto Repair. Let Charlie make your car great once again.
Should have taken the shot, fat ass.
It's funny.
The comments keep rolling in.
Sure.
You gave us Melissa, didn't need staples.
One man's opinion.
Mesmerized. What do you say here? We were mesmerized by Melissa. Of course, the ticket is worth whatever someone will pay. I sold a Zeppelin sweatshirt through Yellow Brick Road for $200.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, Jim has sold some stuff through for yellowbrickroadauctions.com.
Okay.
Jim and Sandy, who usually listen to the show and are listening right now, were in New Orleans. I don't know if they're still there, but they spent the past bunch of days in New Orleans. And every single post, I don't know if they did anything but sit at a bar.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do.
Like every post was, I think they were doing it in honor of what's going on right now. It was a hurricane glass sitting in front of them.
First ever hurricane in New Orleans, by the way.
First ever hurricane in New Orleans. I'm sure the hurricane drinks were part of climate change as well.
And sure they were.
What were we talking about before the whole Yellow Brick Road auctions? I forget.
I don't know. I'm fascinated by Yellow Brick Road. I have so much stuff to actually potentially auction. It's like, it's like I don't even know if I told you this. In fact, I know I didn't, but I'll tell it on the air too. So there was this auction for a town in West Virginia a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we had the guy that was sponsoring the auction on my Chris Aiken Presents show. And at the end of it, I'm on the air so I could show people to join this thing. It was a fundraiser for this town, like a real broke dick town in West Virginia. And they were auctioning off some really nice stuff. A couple of two, three really, really nice guitars, all autographed and stuff. Really cool stuff, right? So on the air, I bought 5 raffle tickets. They're like $10 each. So I bought 5 raffle tickets. I won this auction. So they're in the process now of sending me a $5,000 guitar signed by Brett Michaels' guitar player. I think Reb Beach from Winger signed it. George Lynch signed it. And I forget who the 4th person was. Maybe like Tracy Guns or somebody from LA Guns. I forget who it was, but it's like 4 major guys. And I'm like, I literally was only buying the tickets to be supportive. I wasn't even trying to win.
That's awesome.
And it's the first time I've ever won anything. I've never won a contest like that in my entire life. And I won this guitar.
When do you get it?
It's as soon as it ships. Yeah, they're gonna ship it like UPS or whatever.
Yeah, I don't win shit, dude. Like I auctions, like my ex-wife and I used to do auctions on eBay.
Right.
For the Pez stuff, because we were really into the Pez. Like,
okay.
When I say we had a Pez collection, I'm talking like close to 1,000 Pez dispensers.
Right.
And everything from these old time Pez dispensers to new Pez dispensers to Pez soda. They had Pez cereal. They had all kind of different Pez things. Yo-yos,
Sure. Okay.
wallet clips, like money holders, like all kind of different things.
Right.
And so we had all this shit, but we did it like a lot of it on eBay, and we would sit there and literally just wait until the last bid and start bidding and try to get this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, 1, how stupid you are by wasting all that money. But 2, like, I don't really win anything. Like, I mean, I don't know. I guess I give up trying. Like, and then my wife and I, we play the lottery, and we only play when it's like $8 billion. Well, I mean, like, why don't we play the lottery when it's 10 million? We could 10 million would still change our lives. Oh, we play. Oh, the Powerball is up to 10 billion. Now I'll go ahead and play it,
dude. Why aren't you playing it when it's 100K for God's sakes?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, with the amount of money that we make, salary wise, $100,000, we could retire on.
Dude, let me tell you my horrific. You're gonna laugh your ass off at what a dope I am. This was way back when I first got married. Or when I first moved here. So I'd been married about 2 or 3 years. And when we moved back here from California, we were so destitute broke. I was working every temp job I could, making $5 an hour, counting screws. That's a literal job that I did, doing inventory in a screw factory, counting screws out of cases of screws. It was the worst. I mean, I was just barely scraping by, and I had babies and everything else, making no money, working 2-3 jobs, just trying anything. But being the rubes that me and my ex were, we sure as shit got a lottery ticket every week.
Right.
We bought a lottery ticket every week. So at some point, and this is way old school, back in the 8086 computer days, before like even a 386 or a 486, how old these were, the old brown screen monitor days.
Right.
I bought a computer program for like $2 that was designed to help you win the lottery. And what you did was you plugged in the numbers every week, and every week it would calculate the numbers that were going to the best odds for the next, which is total bullshit. It's there's no odds to the lottery because it's random every week. But this thing somehow had odds. We did this stupid thing for it had to be 2.5 years. Every week, every Wednesday, we would go, oh man, we didn't win the lottery. Let me plug them into this dumb program so that we could get the numbers right. And then we would start playing the numbers. We upped our ticket price. This is how stupid we were. Instead of saying, oh, this is dumb and quitting, no, we doubled down. We would buy one random number that we wanted to play that was generated by the machine, but then we would also play a random number. So we actually increased our spending when we had no money to spend on the lottery because this thing was giving us a second number to play. So we did this 2.5 years. We do this. Finally, I just decided that's enough. This is stupid. We can't afford diapers, but we're throwing money out for this stuff, right?
Right.
6 weeks after we quit, the number hit.
Of course.
And it wasn't a huge one, but it was like $22 million or something. I absolutely was like, you've got to be kidding me on this.
That would be my luck. Or my luck, I actually win the lottery and I drop dead.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I never get to actually cash the ticket.
Yeah, have a heart attack from the excitement.
Right. It would be over. I won. At least my wife would be happy.
Yeah, she'd be thrilled.
In a lot of different ways. I'm not around and she's a multimillionaire. There you go.
There you go. Perfect. And she doesn't have to use the winnings to pay for the house.
Right.
There, that's all wins.
Yeah, I'm not much of a... Look, I have a lot of good luck in a lot of other ways. I mean, I'm lucky to have friends that I have. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the house that I'm in. I wouldn't have this podcast, thanks to you. So I'm lucky to have, people in my life that are Jim and Sandy, a lot of different friends.
Sure.
Family and people that... But I've never been just lucky in that kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in a way to like win stuff. I've never... I play games at the carnival and they have those dark games of the stupid balloons, and the balloons are so close together, you have to be like a moron not to be able to hit one of these balloons. And me, I throw it, and I ended up hitting the guy in the forehead who's running the game. I mean, I don't have any luck when it comes to stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Even my dad said, there's always like a black cloud over you wherever you go. And it just seems like there always is.
It ain't you, dude. Especially at those dumb carnival games. Dude, I was an all-state baseball player. And then, so naturally, what I was trying to play at every carnival I ever played. The one where you throw the ball and you knock down the three stupid bottles that are stacked up. I don't think I ever won that once. And I was an all-state baseball player, and I couldn't knock down 3 bottles with a softball because it's all rigged. It's all junk.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, it comes with everything. Like I could enter a contest with 3 people and I couldn't get third place. I mean, that's just the luck that I have. I don't understand. But in a lot of other ways, I'm very lucky. I mean, I consider myself lucky to be alive with everything that's happened. So I see Tony Musachio kind of doing whatever he's doing down there.
I don't know if he's ready or not, but
I don't know either. It looks like a great place. The internet won't work, but it looks like a great place.
Exactly.
There.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing here. He ain't
I'm
focused on.
I'm going to check. I'm going to bring it up. No?
No.
For fun?
Because now we're looking at somebody's feet.
I wanted to see if the feet were still going to be on. We're going to check in with Tony Musachio in just a little bit.
As soon as the camera checks in with Tony, then we'll check in with Tony.
I want to play this again real quick because I think it's funny while we're waiting on Tony. Because
Go ahead.
I noticed that we have a lot more people watching now than earlier.
Yeah. All right.
But did you like this Biden video that I played earlier?
Which the
cartoon? The cartoon.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Hello, it's me. It's Joe Biden. See, I made it to Maui. I'm excited to get to my hotel. Jill and I got sunburned this morning on the beach, enjoying a cocktail in the sand. You people like it hot, I guess. Anyway, I know how you feel. When I was a boy, my father told me to make the pancakes one morning. I burned my hands on the pan. I gripped it hard. That's when a Japanese fellow by the name of Chuck Long Lee Chen Chen took me under his wing. Showed me the art of taking a bath naked. That's what I called my son Bo. I told him my Corvette went on a hiking expedition in the Alps. It's when it burned to a crisp. He died in my arms. Now I know what it's like to be Native American, just like you fine folks. To help the struggling families of Maui, I'm sending each and every one of you $17.51 to divide amongst yourselves as you please. Anyway.
I like the anyway part at the end.
I want to remind people about the show that I am producing now, Bob France, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Dr. Tenpenny, Dr. Sherry Tenpenny is going to be on. Dr. Tenpenny is one of the doctors that we used to talk to on the other show, on Trip Show, all the time. And she is a strong anti-vax person when it comes to this vaccine.
Okay.
So she has very strong opinions on not taking this vaccine. Dr. Tenpenny, people will know her. She's great and has a lot of very strong opinions. Then on Friday, we're supposed to talk to a guy I think I told you about this.
Yeah, you told me.
One of the guys that invented the mRNA, I think, vaccine that's out right now.
Okay.
And I don't think he has good things to say about it. And the left-wing media and people won't cover him anymore, and they won't talk about him. And he's going to be on the show on Friday.
What? And he invented it?
Yeah.
I'll follow his science.
You're right. Yeah. So I'll listen tomorrow, Tenpenny, and then Friday, Dr. Robert Malone. It should be pretty cool to check out on Bob Francis' show.
Very good, man.
Ever see Jeff Dunham's Biden puppet of Biden? Yes. My Jeff Dunham story, let me tell you about this.
All right.
I was invited to go to the show. And, Jeff Dunham, I think, is pretty funny. He's a pretty funny guy.
Sure.
Does the ventriloquist stuff, obviously all the puppet stuff. And so we had second row seats at CSU.
Okay.
But they were really long rows. And no aisle in the middle. So if you were in one of these rows in the front, it was like, and you were in the middle of it, forget about it. You had like a country mile to walk over people to get out of the aisle and get back to wherever you wanted to go. And, you're at a comedy show. Well, we got a call from my daughter and she wasn't feeling good.
Right.
And she was at home. And she was by herself. And so we had to leave. And at a comedy show, you don't want to get up in the middle of a comedy show.
No.
Because, this guy's going to make fun of you to no end.
Yes.
And the seats that we were sitting, we were right in the middle, second row. So it was really close to the stage. And they were really tight. And so this big, giant woman is sitting next to my wife. And like part of her thigh roll was on top of my wife's leg.
Right.
And so she was a very big girl. And I'm not trying to make fun of her, but she was a big girl. And part of her leg was hanging on top of my wife's leg.
Okay.
And we got this call from our daughter that we had to leave. So I'm trying to come up with a plan. How do we get the hell out of here? And so we waited until Jeff Dunham turned around because he had to go get one of these other dang puppets out of another box somewhere. I was like, now's our chance.
Right.
So we're hightailing. She had to unload this girl's thigh from her thigh, but we got out and we're like stepping on people trying to get out of this damn aisle. We get all the way out, and thank God he didn't see us. But somebody didn't recognize me from being on the radio, knew who I was, Crib Show or MMS or whatever, and he hadn't started talking yet, and all you hear is, "Look, it's Seth," and I'm just standing there in the open in the middle of the CSU trying to get the hell out of there. But thank God we did. We got out of there pretty quick. But it was
hilarious.
Hell of a show.
That's funny. Yeah, there's nothing worse than when you get recognized at a place, because then 15 other people that enjoyed you have to come over and say, "Oh man, I love what you do." It's like, dude, I just want to watch the show.
Dr. Timpany had her license to practice suspended over COVID. She had some problems when it came to COVID because she not a believer in the vaccine. And we had her on numerous times, and she'll be on tomorrow morning.
She won't be suspended from guesting there or here, will she?
No, and I'm going to talk to her about getting on this show too, because all the YouTube will ban her in like 5 seconds.
Are we worried about YouTube? With the numbers that I showed you this on Monday afternoon, are you worried about YouTube?
No, YouTube sucks. But
YouTube
Rumble is where it's at. Rumble, the numbers are very good on Rumble, so I'm very happy about that.
I mean, what did we say? We did the numbers. What did I send them to you? An hour and a half after the show?
Yeah.
And the numbers were 8 times what we did on YouTube on Rumble.
Yeah, if not more. Yeah, it was crazy.
Come on. These YouTube numbers are ridiculous.
And he signed autographs for 20 minutes. 30 minutes, Jim. 30.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think that that's what got Triv? Honestly. I mean, he was older. He was what, 72, right?
73, 74, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I think he was about my dad's age, so somewhere around there. I don't want to say that just because, I mean, I know there's plenty of people that, including really close friends, that are listening.
Sure.
And
I'm not saying to be disrespectful. I'm just asking. Do you think
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it.
I mean, did he ever have, and I don't know, did he ever have COVID like before he got the shot that made him get the shot, or did he just do it because the station pressured him?
I don't think it was even that. I think it was because he talked to his doctor.
Oh, and his doctor told him to?
I mean, that's what he said on the air, so I don't mind saying that. He said on the air that his doctor told him that he thought it'd be a good idea to take it, and he did.
Yeah.
And, we argued about it numerous times.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I know that I'm talking about from my personal experience. So I apologize, Jim and Sandy. You may have a different experience, and you can feel free to text in, call in, whatever. But from my personal experience with him, he always talked about going to the doctor, and even though he drank and he smoked, he always seemed to be relatively healthy.
Right.
And so I don't know. I don't know what it was.
Well, just curious. I mean, I don't know.
Mad about it every day. So.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. It does suck. So is Tony ready?
We're going to go to Tony. I see a hot bartender sitting in the background.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, so let's go to Tony Musachio. He is live somewhere.
I am live.
Tony Musachio.
Ben Lau, where are we live?
We're live in Lao Szechuan.
Lao Szechuan. It is a fine dining Chinese, actually Asian restaurant, you can call it, which is in Pinecrest, right across the street from Pinstripes. And guys, I did Triv, it was the Black Label and cheesecakes. And he would have even laughed at that one. So, yeah, guess what?
You need to pull the phone up to you a little bit more, Tony.
Can you see it now?
No, your sound. We can't hear you all that well.
Oh, hold on 1 second. How are we now?
You're all right.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So, actually, I have Lexi, who has been a bartender throughout the city of Cleveland. I've met her at many different restaurants. She is making me a honeydew margarita. Casamigo, Efren, Contro. Guys, I love margaritas. This is going to be wonderful.
Is she single?
Lex, you single?
Am I single?
You're single?
I am.
She's single. Guess what? We're going to find a boyfriend for you.
Oh my!
With a bank account. Of course. Fine, let's make it happen, Seth. Actually, in fact, we're gonna make this drink right here, but I have Ben here right now, and they have him sit down next to me, and he's gonna talk to you about this wonderful new restaurant that opened up about 2 weeks ago. The owner came to America in 1993, started in 1998. He has 13 locations throughout America, and I had said it is really a beautiful, fine dining Asian restaurant, which I will show you in a few moments. Ben, how did the place start? Who's the owner? And let's talk about it.
So Tony Hu is the original founder of La Szechuan. He is one of the top graduates of the Szechuan cuisine in China. So when he first came to America, he came to Chicago, started working with a master chef there. And once he was ready and he missed his own kind of hometown cooking, he started his own restaurant, Lao Szechuan, in Chinatown, Chicago. So his whole goal of Lao Szechuan is to share to everyone his hometown cuisine and make sure everyone feels like they're at home whenever they eat at his restaurant. Yeah.
Excellent. How long has the current restaurant been open?
So our restaurant's been open for about 10 days now. So we had our soft opening on the 18th. We had friends and family first, and we had professional days. So just a little over 10 days. Yeah.
Chris, hold that thought. Guess who's here? Guy Fieri.
Who is it?
Restaurant guy, Fieri? I'm just teasing. He looks like him. Go ahead.
Tell us about the food. What kind of food do you guys have?
So we mainly focus on Szechuan cuisine, but we also have the Peking duck, and our chef here that does the Peking duck. All he does is the Peking duck. He trained under Chef Tian, which he's been making Peking duck his whole life, basically 40 years. Every single day is Peking duck day.
Okay.
That's all he focuses on, nothing else, just Peking duck. So our Peking duck is very traditional. Our prep time is around 3 days before they even get roasted.
Wow.
Our ducks come from a farm that we have different specifications for them. They're basically from when they grow up to when they enter the slaughterhouse. We have full control of that process.
Okay.
When we get it, all the ducks that we get are certain size, certain fat content, and they're perfect for Peking.
Excellent. Now, is your restaurant a dinner only, or do you guys do lunch as well? I mean, what are the hours and stuff?
So right now, our hours are Monday through Friday. We start at 3:30 to 10.
Okay.
And Saturday, Sunday, we are trying to get our dim sum ready, but right now it's just dinner.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So again, guys, this is actually in Pinecrest, which is, of course, one of the newer restaurants here. This is going to take off. This is probably, I talked about this before, it's in the best financial area in Cleveland, which is located between Shaker, Moreland Hills, Pepper Pike, Beechwood. So again, it is a high-end Asian restaurant, which they're going to do very well here. I don't know if you've ever had duck before, but we're going to come here. They have a beautiful patio. We're going to come here on a Saturday evening or a Friday evening, and Ben's going to pick up the bill. Did I say that?
No, you didn't, because I couldn't hear you. Who's going to pick up the bill?
I just want to actually pan the restaurant here.
Yeah, take a walk around, Tony. See what we got.
I showed you this. I showed you this before I actually got on air.
I mean, it looks beautiful.
We have 3.
Tony apparently walked away from the microphone.
Yeah. Can't hear you, Tony.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
No, you got to take the other.
Guys, can you hear me?
You got to take the other headphone.
You got to take the other headphone.
Hello?
We hear you.
Guys, can
There you
you
are.
hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I wasn't synced here with my iPad or my earpod. I'm going to actually get you into the kitchen here. This will actually work. So
Okay.
I'm going to show you how large this kitchen is. It's really cool how they actually prepare this stuff. Hi guys, how are you? Hello.
How are you?
Welcome to Seth Williams Show.
We lost him again.
Can't hear you, Tony. Nope.
We can see everything.
We see, but we can't hear.
Wow, look at all that.
Wow, look at this. And now we're dead.
I mean, I want to hear about Tony's accident. I mean, it looks like a great place. I mean, beautiful.
It does, but
it sounds nice.
Sounds like they're busy. Sounds like they're busy.
Yeah.
And we can't hear Tony at all. No. And we're frozen.
It's boring. When he gets back, I'll put him back on and we'll talk about everything.
Guys, can
Tony,
you hear
there
me?
You are.
Okay, you can hear me. All right, guess what? I'm going to actually go into the patio here. Wait till you see this gorgeous patio. Guys, we are in Cleveland, Ohio. Is this beautiful?
Wow,
this looks like something out of... I go to...
All right, here's the deal. Tony needs to stay out of Pinecrest because Pinecrest apparently has no internet connection. All I wanted to do was hear about
We put millions of dollars into this restaurant, and everything was shipped in canisters, truckloads from China. So guess what? Everything is made in China.
There you go.
It is a beautiful patio, man. I'll say that.
So again, guys, we are coming here soon. I just want to give you an overlay of this entire restaurant. It's kind of cool. So we'll be back. I'm going to make sure, Seth, you're going to have duck.
Absolutely. Now, Tony, we want to talk about what happened to you last week.
All right, so
we got to be able to see you though, and hear you.
All right, can you see me?
Yeah.
Yep. There he is.
All right, hold on. Let me sit down. Next, I'm going to sit down in the dining room.
No, sit where you are. We can hear you right there.
Yeah, don't go too far.
All right, that's fine.
Now we see your face. Looks like a porn.
All right.
There we go.
We good?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. So, of course, every Wednesday I am live on the Seth Williams Show talking about local restaurants. And last Wednesday I went golfing with Little John Rinaldi. And on the way home, we were actually in Akron at Paradise Lakes. And of course, it was a very rainy evening. So about 4 o'clock, actually about 3:30, we left Mike's Restaurant, which is located in Kent. And I was on my way home from Akron, driving down 76, getting on to 77 north, coming home. And this lady was in the fast lane. I was in the berm lane. I was driving my Corvette. And through my peripheral vision, I saw her doing donuts to the second lane, and then she smashes in to the quarter panel of my car and my tire. So it ruined the rim, the tire, my whole car. It smashed me into the berm. So fast forward, unfortunately, she doesn't have insurance. Welcome to America. So, and I got a little injury, of course, here, and of course, I don't want to go through the whole thing because it's going through court. But unfortunately, I am going through this court case, which it's not fun. So you don't have to have proof of insurance. All you have to do is you have to say that you have insurance.
Right.
Which is crazy. So only in Ohio, that is exactly what happens.
Oh my
so
God.
the moral of this, guys, the moral of the story is elk and elk.
Just don't let them cut your hair.
Yeah. Actually, they're great friends of mine. They're great customers, so you gotta love them.
They're good. They're real nice guys. But
I remember standing outside. I stood outside one day. Troop made me stand outside one day when it was cold out, and one of the elks came up and gave me $20 so I could go buy something cold or warm to eat when Troop made me stand outside. They are good people, I will say that.
Oh, that's so funny.
All right, so
you know what, guys?
People really want to know though, how's the Corvette?
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. I'm looking at, and again, it's a classic car. It's a 1986. It only has 50,000 miles on it.
Oh.
I'm probably gonna have to put about $7,000 into this car. And of course, a lot of it's gonna come out of pocket. But you know what? It is a valuable car, and I thank you for asking, all the viewers and listeners. But I want to get it back on the street, and I am never going to drive it on 77. And I'm going to make sure that this girl is nowhere near me. I want to find out where she's driving whenever I am out on the streets. I got to tell you. You know, guys, I always have a story. This was a crazy one. So
we're just glad that you're okay. So
yeah, exactly.
And that was very nice, Seth. You texted me and called me that 24 hours after. So guess what? I'm actually at my videographer. Look at this backyard again. I'm going to go inside real quick. You guys can just watch this. I'm going to see if they have any duck being cut for me. Give me 2 minutes.
All right. 2 minutes.
The greatest thing about Tony, the greatest thing about Tony is that he drives around Broadview Heights all the time.
Right.
And North Royalton and stuff because he lives over here. And so I in the past 2 weeks, I might have seen him 10 different times before this accident.
Right.
And he's driving around. I know it's Tony because I see the white Corvette going on down the road.
Sure.
And there's Tony behind the wheel. And I'm always trying to wave at him and stuff, but he never hears me. But it's funny because he's the only one that really in North Royalton has like a classic, Corvette driving around Broadview Heights. I see him all the time.
Nice.
Where's the duck, Tony?
The duck's coming. Give me 1 minute. You guys got to see the duck. But in the meantime, let me just give a great joke here, which I always do on the Seth Williams Show, and I always do it on ERE. You can tune me in every Saturday morning between 10 o'clock and 11. I am in a different local restaurant, or actually an international restaurant, as this one is, which we've never gone to a restaurant like this, guys, that is 13 restaurants strong across the country, Chicago, New York City, and now right here in our backyard in Cleveland. This place is going to do very well. So this tall brunette woman walks into a bar, and she's got a strapless dress and hairy armpits. She raises her arm high and says, "Which gentleman here is going to buy this lovely lady a drink?" The place went silent. All of a sudden, there's this little old man at the end of the bar, drunk as can be, says, "Buy the ballerina a drink." So the bartender gets the lady a drink. She shoots it down. She says the same thing, raises her arm, and says, "Who's going to buy this beautiful young woman a drink?" Place is silent, raises his arm, says, "Buy the ballerina a drink." The bartender comes up to him and says, "How do you know that this is a ballerina?" He says, "Any woman who can raise her leg that high has got to be a ballerina."
Damn, Jesus.
Hey, Tony, real quick.
Yes.
We're gonna have to talk contract negotiations because this podcast is gonna be on WHK soon. And so, I don't know what we're
Wonderful.
going to have to do here. We're going to have to figure out, how to have you on and still promoting, HK, because that's going to be the new radio station home of this show.
It'll be wonderful. I will be clean and just give me money.
Working on getting me money first, Tone.
There you go. We do need a sponsor for this segment, but I love you guys, and you know that. And again, I've been in the broadcasting industry now for 8 years, and it was a Color in the Trib show. I wanted to be a broadcaster ever since I was 18 years old at Kent State University, and I got into it, guys. And I appreciate you every Wednesday, and the people who got me in it, especially Tribisano, who I thank every Saturday morning.
Very
Guys,
nice.
let me see it. Give me 1 minute. Let's see. You gotta see this duck.
Hey, take your time, Tony.
Thank you.
Good.
I'll just mute it. I'm muting it again just so that we don't get all that plates clanking and stuff.
I'd rather look at Lexi the bartender. No offense. It's a great patio, but still.
There's Tony.
All right, wait, guys. Wait till you see this.
Let's see what we got here.
And now's when it's going to die.
Yeah, of course.
Couldn't have brought the damn duck outside.
No.
No.
But we can see Tony's coat.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. Jeez, oh, man.
Guys, you got me?
Yeah, we got you.
Cool. So this is actually, they've got a duck carving where the duck comes right to your table. So you can get a full duck, a half duck, or you can get partial duck. Poor little duck.
Tasty duck.
It's a tasty duck. So a full set is $88. And then a tableside carving is $20, and then a half set is $48. So again, they are known for their Peking duck here, which is, I gotta tell you, and this isn't the Peking duck that you find like in the hood. Okay, I just want to tell you that. I'm drinking. So they made me a margarita, and now they made me a mojito with rum. I'm gonna need a ride home.
It's a good thing you don't have that Corvette today, Tony.
You got that right. So, anyways, you know what? Let me. Shen, here, please sit down. Actually, I'm going to get the GM here. This is Shen. Hold on 1 second. He also has a restaurant that is Shindo, which is in Strongsville. Hold on. I'm going to put that in here right here.
Okay.
Seth and Chris are listening and watching.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
So that meal looks fantastic. How many does that feed roughly? Is that for like a table for 4 or 2 or?
6 to 8.
One.
6 to 8.
Yeah. If you're very, very hungry, maybe just for you.
For me, it would be like me and Chris.
These are big guys. You don't see their picture, but they're big dudes.
Well, it looks fantastic, and Tony was telling us you've only been in town 10 days. What brought the restaurant to town? Was it marketing research, or did you just see a hole in Cleveland that needed to be filled, or what?
Absolutely. I think in the Cleveland, there's a lot of great restaurants. What is really missing is high-end Chinese restaurants where we serve a lot of authentic dishes. Okay, so this portion of the duck is the belly portion of the duck. It's most crispier. This duck has been prepped for 3 days, and it's been ovened for 66 minutes before we serve every single duck. So this portion, this piece, you want to eat it first. It's the first course. So that's a belly portion. It's most crispy. We serve it with the brown sugar. Yeah.
All right, guys. You know what? I'm going to try chopsticks.
Yes. Get that brown sugar along with it.
They'll probably fall off these chopsticks because I'm not good at this. And you got to put a little of the brown sugar, right? Sugar?
Right. This is considered a delicacy. You get about 10 pieces out of it, out of a whole duck.
Wow.
Right.
Seth, you're trying duck. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't
So-
care what you say. I know you don't eat broccoli, you don't eat tomatoes, you don't eat fruits and vegetables. You're trying the duck.
Very good.
So just give a little bit background about duck. Like from farm, we have our own standard from the weight to the fat content. So the farm to our kitchen, always every part is to look at closely, and we keep up standard. Now, Chef Wang here, he is trained under Chef 10 in Chicago. He's Chef 10 has been working for Lao Shang for 18 years. His whole life, all he make is one dish, just Peking duck. So that's
Wow.
why he's the #1 Peking duck chef. And we have Chef Wang here, has been training underneath him for the past few months. Yeah. So he.
Where do you find duck? Like at Kinsman and 98? Those are yours and
We have farm, yes. Yeah, these are all organic, wild raised. Yeah. Roughly 5.5 to 6 pounds. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Oh, this looks fantastic, guys. It really looks like a great meal and a great place.
Absolutely. So these is all the ingredients comes with Peking duck. Now the plum sauce and the pancake is all house made.
Okay.
Right, we make it fresh every day. So what you do is after you eat the skin, first course, second course, you want to take a piece. Go ahead, take a piece of pancake. All right, let me get you a plate. Okay, you go ahead, spread it out, and then right, and a little bit house-made plum sauce. Okay, you're gonna get some cucumber.
Okay. Right inside?
Yes.
Okay.
Right on top, and then a little bit of green onion.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. These
All right.
things don't work, guys.
The duck should be ready anytime soon.
Okay.
So a little bit garlic. We want to add a little bit of radish, add a little bit more texture to it. Okay, and then let me grab the duck. Okay. So take a couple pieces. Couple pieces. Right. There you go.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do this first one for you. Okay.
Okay.
You roll it up this way. Next, you want to fold it this way.
It's like an Asian taco.
Yeah.
I love this.
And then you just wrap it like this.
Very nice.
Go ahead. Enjoy. And I promise I'll wash my hand prior to. Yeah. Yeah. You get that full experience.
Wow. Looks great.
So, I gotta tell you, I love all the different restaurants I've been to. Whether it be Italian, whether it be Greek, whether it be Ethiopian. I love Asian restaurants. You know why?
Why?
Because at 5'5", I'm usually the tallest one here. Yeah, I'm 6 foot. I love you, my friend.
All right.
Enjoy.
Excellent.
Musachio reporting live at Awesome July in Beechwood. Actually, it's Orange. The Seth Williams Show. Guys, back here in the studio. I'll see you next week.
All right. Thank you, guys. All right. There we go. That's Tony Musachio out at the restaurant there. That place looks fantastic. Seth, you, of course, have no audio. Of course not. I noticed that right when your internet went to shit. But yeah, that place definitely looks cool. And with your computer having its normal end of show run, I think we're gonna do end of show period. What do you think? Shake your head, yes, Seth. All right. I'll make the announcement. Seth can just sit here and watch for a minute while we're doing this. Just for everybody to know. We will not be here on Monday for the holiday. Seth and I are both going to be off doing holiday things, so we will not be here on Monday. So everybody go out and do something. Go have some fun. go to that restaurant right there and have some duck because that place looks fantastic. But we will be back on Wednesday. We're working on some guests right now. Tony will be back, of course. Seth will have his computer booted for an hour and a half of the show before his shit goes crazy again. But that is going to do it for us. Thank you, as always, for listening, for watching. Make sure that you go to cmstv.net to catch the replays. Every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there is a replay, same time, 4 to 6 Eastern. And that's it. So for Seth, for the silenced Seth Williams, it is me, Chris Aiken, and we will see you guys next week. See ya.